One of my native languages is German, the other English. And there are some really cool sensibilities in German vocabulary. Grammar as well, probably, but that's not what I'm thinking about right now. And there is a word I really like called Ausglühen. It's a verb, and it means to glow out. And this is something that very well describes what happens when you're not taking your thoughts and feelings so personally, and you allow them to pass without accumulating all this stuff, all these associations, and feeling all trapped in them and getting stuck in all of that. A lot of people, when they're unhappy in their life, the word stuckness comes up. And I think one way to describe that is when you're so convinced that your thoughts and feelings mean that they are the truth, which they're not, then there is this accumulation of stuff that makes you sluggish and slow, and you're covering yourself, or not covering yourself, but just you're in a slough, in a mud, in a fog, and a slime, maybe, moving like this, and your face always being in the thoughts and being in something else and being unhappy. When actually that is a condition of your own making, this suffering. That's also why I like to use the expression ego crust, because it feels so crusty when you're all convinced by all that stuff and moving around just very, very inhibited and unfree. So this word Ausglühen is, in my context here, being used when you have a thought, let's say, and everyone I'm pretty sure knows the situation that you're in a conversation with someone, and instead of just really listening and really being in the flow and allowing the conversation to go where it may, you have something that you want to say, and there's a moment of disconnect where you're holding on to that thing really tightly, and you can no longer listen to what the person is saying, and you don't want to acknowledge that the window for you to say this and for it to really be in the flow of the conversation might have passed. So you disconnect and you stop listening till there's a pause and you can say your thing. And that's the opposite of Ausglühen. That's something that's like a glowing coal within you that you keep heating up again and again, and then bursts out as a fire when you can. But something that happens when you're really present is that you notice that you're just watching your thoughts coming and going, and you notice how you can have a thought and then the flow is not there anymore, and you can just watch it go out like a glowing coal that cools down and rests. And I can't explain this further in this moment, but one thing that I have noticed about German words, especially these words, I forget what it's called, but these composite verbs like glow out, where there's the supplementary preposition or whatever it is, the word out in this case. In German, those are often part of the, it's the same actually in English, I'm just realizing. But in this moment, I'm highlighting it because with this particular word, it's separate in the English translation, and also not something that would be so commonly used, I would I would venture to claim. And in this case, the German prefix, it's a prefix in this case, the aus, in front of the glühen, Ausglühen. And there's something about that intuition that I find really meaningful in describing this, prioritizing this out before the glowing. Because just in terms of like the emotional move that happens in this word, the glow out, it's a big glow and then it goes out. So it's like but the Ausglühen never has this dramatic bump, kind of, where you thought it was going to be glowing, but it just already sets the scene. Okay, whatever I'm about to say, it's out, like it's over, and I'm just describing a different process when I highlight that first, that it's Ausglühen, which then gives the glow immediately this rich mellowness, not mellowness, this rich, it's got this darkness to it, because when you just use the word glow, I think that with most people, the association is for it to be a rather bright glow, a rather light color, signifying quite a lot of energy, because, you use modifiers like soft glow when you're talking about something else, but just a glow, I think that the first association would be something quite radiant in a way. Whereas this Ausglühen kind of glow has this like dark red energy of cooling lava, or a stone, a heated stone that's just about to cool off, and for the radiation given off of it to leave the visual spectrum and be in the waves to be so long that it's only heat that you can no longer see. And I just find it much, much more accurate when I'm trying to describe this phenomenon to use Ausglühen over glow out. And I was just considering whether a creative use of language like outglow would work here, but I don't think that it's really the perfect solution. I don't know if it's important for me to solve this, but I just wanted to introduce people to that word because I found it really helpful in this process. That's kind of what it is. You're looking at different people who, for different reasons, are phrasing things differently, and then some of the things are really resonating with you and some of them don't. I've heard, for example, some people talk about this big me, this expansive, that everything is you in the universe, for example. I forget actually what the other word is for it, but that was something that doesn't resonate for me at all. And I launched into that without having a good example for a word that does resonate with me that describes the same thing. But it's not so important. And yeah, maybe this could help anyone. I don't know.